All right. Just waiting on a guest, but before he turns up, I'd like to say cheers. Thanks for everybody tuning in. Thanks for all your support. Thanks especially to all the Pacific Islanders out there. Bula Manaka, to all my supporters and followers out in Fiji. And Maloi Lele to all the Tongan brothers and sisters out there. Hope you guys are well. Also, all the Raro Tongans out there, g'day. It's been a while since I said the greetings. No disrespect. And kia ora to all the kia orana. That was the one. Kia ora to all the Kiwis out there. And g'day to all the rest of the Australians. Really appreciate your support. And my name is Sepulona Fa'ale. I am the Samoan rigger. This is my show. A little bit about me first. I was born in Apia, in Samoa, or Western Samoa as it was at the time. I was about 3 or 4, living in up to about 3 or 4 years of age. I was living in Makawha'a, out in Lefanga Bay. That's my mum's village. Then I moved to New Zealand, pretty much settled out in South Auckland, in Mangere, Auckland, in New Zealand. I've got to write all these things down there. I don't want to miss anything out. So, lived there for quite a while, did all my schooling and stuff. I decided to do something different later on in life, about 23, 24. Then I moved to Melbourne, Australia. I haven't looked back. Life's been great. I'm blessed with great kids, good friends, abundance of opportunity, and a positive outlook in life. Now, okay, thanks for tuning into the show. A little bit about my show, just a quick little squiz on it. Hit by a falling coconut. Basically, I get cool personalities from their respective industries to share their stories with a little bit of poking around. I guess with a definite focus on those light bulb moments or people that have affected. Yeah, so it's a few technical hitches I've got to stuff fix up. So if anybody knows how to fix that up on my camera, just send a comment in. It keeps on flicking back off, so I don't know where that's setting in. So just bear with me. For those light bulb moments or people that have affected their lives for the positive and for the better. Okay, let's get on with the show. I got my first guest here. A little bit about him. I'm sure he'll share tell you more about him when he comes on. Okay. My guest today is a good friend and somebody I really admire and respect, who pretty much grew up where I grew up in South Auckland. And on the parallel, ended up in Melbourne. I don't know whether it was the same time, but it'd be pretty close. Where he works with a consultancy where he champions workers' rights across different industries and makes those unfair bosses see the error in their ways, which I hope always goes in his favor. So I'm sure it does. He's a pretty tough dude. All right, I'll bring him on. Uzo.
Malo, Seth,
good evening, man. Thanks a lot for popping in, man. It is a privilege to have you on. Definitely somebody, us younger dudes, look up to. I love hearing all the stories about how you guys, the guys before me, grew up. You always wonder what was going on up at the top. But yeah, thank you very much for popping in. Always great to have these chats with you. I guess it's a bit different now with all these podcast things and stuff, but truly a great opportunity for us to express ourselves and get these stories out. So Efu, first we'll start off. If I'm going to ask you something, if you don't mind, the other day when we were having breakfast, you started us off with a prayer. I'd like for you to lead us off with a little prayer for tonight, a bit of a blessing on the show, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, I'll do that. Heavenly Father, give thanks and for the blessings of today, for the blessings of life. Give thanks for the fellowship and for the opportunity to share with Seth and his followers on a show. We ask that you bless all those families out there who are struggling in life with many blessings to help them get through. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. All right. Also, I'll leave it to you. If you could just give us a little rundown on yourself and where you're at and what you do.
Yeah, Seth, look, thanks for the invite. It's been a sort of a long time coming to get to this place, but more than happy to be on your show. To just share a bit of insights about myself and my business. So, for those of you who don't know, I'm I'm a bit of a fruit seller with my parents. My dad is Niue Samoan from the villages of Mofuali'i and Avasele in Niue. And my mum is Samoan German from Ngeiafu, and not sure where her German side is, but it's the Burgess side. But yeah, not sure where their village is. But anyway, during those times. So I've in regards to my business, you sort of asked how did it all come about, setting up EBER, which stands for Enterprise Bargaining Agreements and Industrial Relations. I set it up probably because of a bit of adversity in my life. When I migrated over here to Melbourne around 2013, got offered a job to come over. And, at that stage, just looking to change a few things in my life. So I took up the opportunity. I worked for a union here in the manufacturing sector. I've been in the union game for a couple of decades. And so enjoyed it. Bit strange. I was probably at that stage, not quite 50 yet, but I was one of the oldest employees there. Most of the employees or union organisers working at this place were young, in their 20s. Some may have hit 30, but very young organisation. And was there for about 4 years. And it's not a long period, but I was considered a long-serving employee. Staff turnover there was horrendous. So I sort of left there again through the adversity. They, it all came about, and it's not a secret. It's on ABC channel. Came up back then when they were trying to terminate my employment. So that was the adverse side of it, and that was simply because I was trying to organise amongst union members or union organisers. So, wanted to stand up for our rights as employees of a union. but sort of took a sour turn, which was quite shocking for me to see that happen. And yeah, cut a long story short, left there, had a colleague of mine, former colleague, who heard what was going on. Well, it wasn't a secret, as I said, it was aired on national TV, what was going on. And then went across to the public sector union, looking after government departments, and worked there for a couple of years. And then the same thing happened. I got sacked. Got sacked from that union again for standing up for myself. The irony and I suppose the hypocrisy of the whole thing was go out there and fight for the employees and our members, but when you want to stand up for yourself, oh no, you can't do that. Anyway, they terminated me. We ended up in court, and then we did a settlement. First to do it, and I suppose that's me. I sort of don't give a shit. I'll stand up for what I believe in, and wrongly or rightly, I thought I wasn't being treated well, and true colours of people that you thought were good people came out during that whole process. But yeah, that's where we ended up in court, and yeah, it was an interesting time and an expensive time. So from that, it's sort of sends you down the track. Well, maybe I just can't work for anybody. Love the job. I just love working in that environment of helping employees and helping workers to the best of their ability and my ability to do what's right by the employer, and fight for them as best as I can. So really love the industry, but just couldn't sit back and just take crap from the people you would think would be the least likely to treat employees certain ways. Yeah, ended up being a bad experience, but hey, it's I wanted to stay in the sector. I wanted to stay in the industry of helping employees and advocating for workers and advocating for their rights. So I just sort of thought, well, there's no law actually saying that you have to work for a union in order to advocate for employees. And funnily enough, the Act provides for that ability to, choose whoever you want to represent you. So hence the birth of eBear and the setting up of my company. But the good thing about working for myself and in this industry, I didn't want to go down the path of applying to be a registered union organisation. There's a whole lot of political rubbish that goes on with those processes. So I just decided to stay as an agent, doing exactly what union organisations do, hopefully better. But yeah, so it's
Well, that must it definitely would put you like do you usually have little chats with the because now they've become your competition now. Like
yeah.
how does that go? Is there a bit of respect in what you guys are trying to achieve?
It's look, I don't think they like it. I don't think unions like the people like myself or who set up organisations or agencies like myself where we are in competition with them. But we're small fry. I don't think I'm the first to set these things. This sort of operation up, but we're not. I wouldn't call us competition, but if I think from their eyes it is. But we are talking organisations that operate with tens of millions of dollars, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, from union fees versus me, who's, I'm happy at getting enough to pay the bills. But that's the difference between both organisations. So it is competition, but it's a different way of servicing employees out there. It's, you don't have to belong to a big group, and that union, you've got to belong to a union to get this, that, and the other. You're still able to achieve your goals and your aspirations in regards to employment conditions via organisations like myself. It's all about negotiations and so forth. Yeah.
But like when you say you're a small mob and you're up against these big mobs, is it pretty much the same? Basically the standards are the same. Like when you want to stand up for somebody, do they have to be in a group? Can you stand up for them like as an individual?
Yeah. So we cover individuals. We, so I've got cover a few teachers, but they all spread across different schools. And then I've got sites like out at the airport where there's a reasonably sized group of employees that come together as one under the eBear umbrella, who participate in bargaining along with unions. So it's the same as belonging to a union, but just a different, using a different vehicle, I suppose is what it is.
And how are you going? You still enjoying it?
Yeah, still love it. It's
a lot of good stories out there.
Yeah, I've been when I set up the business, and my nephew did the website and said, I need to do podcasts and videos and so forth. But as much as you want to do it, it's actually time consuming. And from a small organisation, it gets sort of left by the wayside trying to do videos for this and videos for that. But still loved the job. It's still growing, which is the positive. It's I set it up to during a time, going from adversity to another adversity. I set it up in 2000.
Well, you definitely got a lot of strength coming out of that, all that adversity from the story that you told. Like, you're pretty much down there, like in the doldrums. Like, a lot of guys just would have just take whatever they could have got and just totally got out of that industry. But you've used it as a strength to come back and use it to help these people, people out, and in whatever problems that they have with their employers. Sorry, man, keeps on cutting out on me. But anyway, it definitely takes a lot of strength, and and especially to stay where you are. I think it's great, and I hope these people realize, that it is somebody that's gone through all that sort of stuff, and even on the biggest stage. You're saying that that your case was on ABC, like it's amazing.
Yeah, so
I would have taken the money and ran.
Look, it was a good time. It was an interesting time. It was I take the learnings from that stuff and understanding that there's a lot of that do as we say, not as we do type mentality. Within the employers of that sector group, where it's they're real protective of who's at the top, and if you're not in that clique group, then you don't, in reality, you don't get very far within that sector. And I'm not one to put it bluntly, I'm not a person who's going to suck up to you just to survive or get up any further up the ladder. That's not about me. Yeah, so it's as I said, I love the job. I love the industry. I love helping people out. I suppose I've done it most of my working life. Even when I was former city councillor for Manukau. So,
Oh, tell us about that. How did you get to that point?
It was, again, through the union movement. There are blessings being part of the union and learning from the union. And I give them the dues that you take those learnings in that industry, and got asked to be the representative, the union representative at the Labour Party. And said, oh, yeah, cool, I'll go along. And yeah, one thing led to another. Got asked to put my hand up as a local board member to begin with, and in Otara. And then what happened after that was Sua, who's the current, not current now, he was the Pacific Island Minister for.
Okay. I didn't realise there was a change.
Yeah, so Aupito, I keep forgetting his main title, Aupito Sua William Seal, friend of mine who got me involved heavily within the Labour Party. So he left council. He was the councillor at the time with, I think at the time it was him and late Reuben Ricky were the two councillors at the time. And then he moved on to Parliament, and then the councillor seat came up for grabs, and then put my hand up for that and got elected. Yeah, it's a safe Labour seat, Otara. That's where I grew up, although I was born in Samoa. Came across to the land of the long white cloud of New Zealand when I was 4. And then, so that's how I became a councillor. And then was in there for about just over 3 years, a term and a bit. And then the big super city came along. And that changed things up.
So you grew up in Otara?
Yep. Hillary College boy, Beds Intermediate, Mayfield
College.
Primary. So those were the schools I attended. My brother went to St. Paul, so I didn't go there, but I stayed local.
And how's that area going now? Like
Otara?
It's probably your perspective on I'm sure, like a lot of them, I keep on telling a lot of them to come over to Australia. The grass is a lot greener over there, but there's a lot of staunch dudes that want to stay there and help develop the place. But
I was one of those staunch dudes. I was one of the ones who said, nah, I'll never leave NZ. I'll never leave Otara. I moved from Otara and across to Papatoetoe next door and lived there. Had my kids there, and so Papatoetoe was seen as quite a nice place to live. And when we were living there and brought a house there, it was a beautiful place. But I went back late last year, and it's awful. And that's just
okay.
That's just being honest about it. I would never have thought that I would ever say this, but I would never go back and live in Papatoetoe. It's gone downhill, and that's it's the infill housing where it's been gone from, it's always been a high percentile of rental homes in those Otara, Papatoetoe areas, where it's probably now up to about 60-70% of rental homes. And I think the pride in people of looking after their properties, a lot of it's gone.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you're living on top of each other.
But when you say that, there's still a big Polynesian community living out that way, like, or they
That's-
getting. For one thing, I noticed is a lot of the guys on the south side are moving further south. Like when they always talk about Manurua, well, yeah, they're all going past there or towards the Bombay Hills.
yeah.
So
they're
like, so who's are still a lot of Polynesians living in Papatoetoe, or is it all changing?
there is, but it's predominantly the Indian community now, and that it's. I suppose you look at Howick, where
Yeah,
you're not trying to sound racist or it was always known as Little Chinatown, and all the Asians migrated to,
yeah,
and that was reality. That's where they believe their community landed, and they feel comfortable migrating to that area. So the
yeah.
same is said with Papatoetoe, where it's become, some people call it Little Bombay, but
Okay,
yeah,
I love Papatoetoe.
yeah.
It's a great place.
Oh,
Spend a lot of time at the Mangere Wreck, old Pap.
the people are good. It's just
Yeah,
my view of the area. I suppose I'm looking
okay,
more at the materialistic side. The area is just
yeah,
run down.
yeah. Well, any viewers out there that indifferent or agree with what we're talking about, feel free to comment. Love to read what you think. And whether you have a solution in mind on how South Auckland can move forward, if they're thriving as it is. Not too sure. Probably got to have that conversation next time I'm having a few drinks with the mates out in the South Side. But yeah, so you grew up. What you went to Hillary,
Yeah.
and what was that school like? Were they?
Oh,
I didn't see them a lot out when I used to play cricket or rugby and stuff like that. Like
I don't
I
think
don't
we had
know
a
whether
cricket team.
you guys just played against Hangara College or something
Yeah.
amongst each other.
Yeah. No. So you're talking Hillary College, early '80s.
Yeah,
I left there in '83 or
yeah.
'82. Left Hillary College.
Wow.
So it was. I'm pretty sure we didn't have a cricket team.
Yeah,
So
but it was
it
a pretty
was.
good school. Like at
Yeah.
the
Look,
time.
it was culturally wise.
Yeah,
It was top notch. It was really promoting, the Pacific culture, and
yeah.
whether it was through Pacifica or festival, the schools festival,
Mm,
that was born out of Hillary College. So there are things to be
yeah.
proud of. That school, it was a good school. I enjoyed it. It was just, I just wasn't academically minded during that time.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Did
look,
you get a lot? Did you get a lot of help from the council? Was it or
nah,
like was it sink or swim? You had to go find out for yourself, do a bit of partying, and
yeah,
wake up in the right place at the right time.
it was. Put it this way, I was there. Typically, the subjects I liked was tech drawing. I took
Yeah.
French.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't know why I took French. I
I
think I just
know. I don't
wanted.
know why I took it too. Like
Yeah.
it was either French or I can't remember what the other one was.
Maori was we had the two options, was French
Yeah.
or Maori class. So I didn't want to go to the Maori
Yeah.
class because I didn't want to follow my mates. And I think there might have
Yeah.
been a girl in the French class that I was chasing. So.
Yeah. I think it was the same reason for me too. Also.
Yeah, but then I ended up dropping out of that class, and then even in art class,
Yeah.
a lot of kids loved art. I didn't. Maybe it wasn't because I can't draw for shit, but I used to just mainly Miss Taylor, who's still around these days. She was my art teacher. I used to spend most of my time just emptying the rubbish bins, and we had a big furnace that we.
Oh wow.
She said, "Oh, you can go and take this and chuck it and watch the old paper burn. That was my art class. Yeah. So yeah, Hillary College was awesome school.
Yeah.
It's it continues to be an awesome school. Just
Yeah.
for me, I left school, failing school C twice. So yeah, that wasn't for me.
Yeah. Well, I was pretty close to going to that school growing up. I was living out in Waimondley, so it was
So
either
you
that
should
or
have come.
Efu College. Eh?
So you should have.
I used to walk past it all the time, like when I used to go to the shopping center. But yeah, that was a
Yeah.
long time ago. All right, so all right, so what made you leave? What made you leave New Zealand?
Oh, look, it's
How did that happen?
it's as I said, I was one of those staunch ones who said I'd never leave New Zealand or Aotearoa. I'm a Kiwi boy and hated anything to do with Australia. And yeah, especially
Yeah.
sports like all of us. It's
You know what? I see that in you. I see that in you now. You live in bloody Melbourne and you don't follow the Melbourne Storm.
no, I can't
Jeez.
stand the storm. Only because they're too good, and they
Oh, okay. I'll take that.
they when I say too good, they've dominated rugby
Yeah.
league for what, nearly 2 decades. It's 15 years they've dominated rugby league.
Yeah.
And they came up with those. The reason I really hate them, they came up with all those genius ideas of tackling, the grapple, the chicken wing, all that sort of stuff. The dirty tactics, the grubby, like Billy Slater is the worst for jumping high, putting his leg out and kicking someone in the face, and he gets a penalty awarded against the other team. So yeah, but anyway, that's.
Oh man, you still go on and on your posts every week, like doesn't stop. Love it though.
Yeah. So yeah, so it was a combination of several things why I moved across. I think I've spoken about, Super City. I was a councillor at the time,
Yeah.
and the big merge to become Super City. And it'll probably be the hardest elections ever will go down in history because there were 6 incumbents for running for the Manukau ward. And it might have been 8. Oh shit, can't remember. But there was a lot running for 2 seats, and my running mate was Al Filipina at the time.
Oh, big
Yeah,
shout
so
out to
he's
that
still there.
fella. Lots of respect.
Yeah, been there for a
Yeah.
while. And yeah, unfortunately, I didn't win. I think I would come third. I'm not sure, but
Oh, massive.
yeah. So 2 seats, 6 incumbents, and I think there was over 12 people running for that ward of Manukau, which is currently the Manukau ward now. I think Alf and Lotu Fuli are the current incumbents for that ward. So I lost. Took it a bit hard. Had a bit of a cry. Only
Wow.
because, yeah, it was. I thought I'd done more than enough to get across the line. Knew it was going to be a tough race, and I poured my heart and soul into getting elected, and I didn't prepare for losing. I suppose I didn't prepare for that losing part. So yeah, I had a good cry. When I say cry, I was upset for a few days. So that's how passionate I was about trying to get back into council.
Just with that little episode, so there was a lot to be taken out of that. There's a lot that you've learned from that you've taken into a lot of your dealings on how you handle things.
Yeah. Prepare for the worst. So that's
how.
So I always look at
No more crying.
No. So
okay.
Yeah. So and it's a good lesson. So it's, as I said, my mind was fixated that I've done the hard yards. I mean, that was one of the reasons. Again, got offered a job. in the educational sector, another union movement there. There for a couple of years, and again, they went pear-shaped, and I think that was the start of all this standing up for my rights again. And geez, they try to sack me over that.
Oh my gosh!
So we settled, and
Jeez.
I left, and
yeah,
and the main reason I suppose was those were a few years of bad karma or whatever you call it. It's the last part was really relationship breakup, and
okay,
coming across here was trying to reestablish ourselves and give it another crack. So that was really probably So moved across, but it was a period that 3 or 4 years of shit not going well there. So came across, and then I was homesick for 4 years when I got here. I wanted to go home.
4 years.
4 years homesick.
That's pretty good.
And then
not a lot of expats can last that long. Like, you really got to give it time to breathe, eh?
Yeah, and then
so what? Okay, so in that 4 years is a long time. Like, so what helped you get through those periods?
Oh, my grandkids. Yeah, my grandkids. That was the soothing moment for me. Was they arrived, new grandkids were born, and I'm settled now. I put it all down to my grandkids.
Oh, they're fantastic. How many grandkids you got?
7. Hopefully a few more coming. But yeah.
How many kids you got?
I've only got 4. 2 boys, 2 girls.
Shucks. Big family, brother.
Yeah, I know. I'm nothing compared to my sisters. They have heaps of kids and grandkids.
Yes. Lucky you didn't go back home. You had a rugby team.
Yeah. So
well, so things worked out for you, and how else did you fill in your time?
I got involved with rugby league.
Yeah.
And that was simply because my son had moved over. Well, one of my boys had moved over. My youngest son moved over, and he was, I think it was close to 30 or nearly 30 at the time, and wanted to play rugby league again. He was living with me here.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, cool. And I just wanted to have a game with my son. That's the only reason I went to the Altona Roosters. And I was looking forward to, I started training and then, he got injured. And it was a serious injury too with the shoulder, which sort of put him off rugby league. And then I stayed at the club, played. And then still there now. I'm now the current chairperson of the Altona Roosters Rugby League. So, it's my sort of giving back to the community.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And well, how old were you when you last played? Like when you said you went back to play with your son.
So I missed out playing my son. I actually played 2 games last year. We were that desperate. We were that desperate. We didn't have the numbers, and we didn't want to forfeit again. So so I'm probably close to having the record of the oldest player at that club.
In the world.
But, the comp here is nothing like the Fox back home. Nothing. It's
okay.
Yeah, so if you compare the rugby league here to the Fox back in Auckland, the Fox is probably 2 or 3 levels above the standard here. And that's just, it sounds strange given that the Storm have dominated rugby league, but that's the reality here in grassroots footy and senior men's footy.
Yeah, not too sure how everything's run over here now, but there didn't really seem like there was that much support when the storm first, and I'm sure they would say that it was, but it didn't seem like it was. I think it's a lot better than it used to be, as far as from what I hear. With pathways and stuff like that into professional rugby, here, there, or with the storm, or elsewhere. So you can only hope it gets better, with the VRL and the Melbourne Storm.
It's like I said, I've been involved now for 8 years at Altona. So I had my 10-year anniversary in Melbourne last month.
Oh, that's something to be happy about, eh?
Yeah, so been involved with the rugby league here. But look, grassroots footy here is unfortunately, the leaders here of rugby
Yeah,
league haven't really, I don't know, they don't, whether it's because they ask and they get turned down and they give up. But grassroots footy here, if it wasn't for Pacific Island and Māori participants here, there would be no comp. There would be zero comp. And some of the leaders of these other clubs, when I say that at our all up meetings, they sort of cringe, and I say, well, that's a fact. It's not a made up. You look at all the names that play, they're not Smith and Brown. They are Tuilangis, and of all these. It's reality. So I'm not sure what the vision of the people who run rugby league here, VRL, is, but they need to be just doing something to grow senior footy here. The junior footy here thrives, but you don't have to do much for the junior footy here because, as most parents, they like to live their glory days through their kids and bring them along to footy, and the junior grades thrive here. But then for all of a sudden, it gets to senior level and it just dies.
Do you think it's any different with parents and their kids playing footy or rugby or whatever in the junior grades? Like, do you think it's any different, their attitude towards them, making it onto the big scene? Like, whether you're in New Zealand, whether you're in New South Wales or Queensland, is it any different here with parents?
No. Parents are the same. The problem, the parents want their kids to do well in sports. I'm not saying all of them, but the drive of parents to get their kids into programs and get them into state representative teams, that drive is there. That passion of parents to get their kids there, wrongly or rightly, some of them go a bit overboard. It's I know I wasn't like that with my kids as much as I wanted them to be superstars, but I didn't really say, well, that was, at the end of the day, it was your choice. But there are some parents that go overboard and trying to get their kids to be that superstar, and it's difficult down here for kids to make it until they get better programs to keep the kids here. We get a lot of kids that can make it, but they have to travel out of state. So they'll have to go to Queensland or New South Wales to play in those competitions at that level to try and make it. But the problem is a lot of them don't have the support networks around them. They don't have family.
Okay.
Yeah. And
well, oh, you mean interstate?
Yeah, so they've got to go into state, Q Cup, New South Wales Cup, for these junior kids, Pacific kids and Māori kids coming through, for them to get recognised seriously, they've got to go into state. And you don't want it to happen, but that's the reality. That's if you want to play at a certain level, you've got to be or be at a certain level. You've got to be playing at that level of footy to progress your career path. And unfortunately, it's not down here. It's down here is that quality of footy is not down here, and that needs to change.
Okay, so it's the quality, not the
Yes,
opportunity.
it's the quality of footy it's both. So
Yeah.
So the quality of footy down here goes to a certain level, but when you compare it to New South Wales and Queensland, where rugby league, city, it's not AFL, that their level of rugby league is probably 5 to 6 years ahead of what age groups are down here. You've got the talent here, but it's that next step that they have to be playing at in order to progress. And you can see it in the current SG Brawl competition, where our SG Ball team, I don't think they've won a game. And it's been
Okay.
that's the under 19s. Used to be the under 18s. They moved
But
it to
SG
under
Ball,
9.
I remember a few years back they used to be pretty strong. So why was it declined? Like
It was strong, but it was still not at a level where they were actually winning that comp.
okay.
So if you look at the history of Storm age group grades at that age group, they haven't done very well at all. But and that's simply because when you're playing against that type of same age group, but these kids up there, they've been taught at a different type of level. It's I don't know how to put it, but it's a level well above what they're playing here.
All right. So definitely a lot of things to develop. So those are all the downers. Like what's the good thing about playing rugby in Melbourne?
Look, it's good people, and it's I love the fact that I joined Altona Roosters. It's a great club. I think we're the second oldest club here in Victoria.
You guys have always been a pretty strong club, eh?
Yeah, we're the biggest club, and I'll keep arguing that point to other clubs will say, "Oh no, you're not," but nah, we're the biggest. We have, I think a couple of years, a few years ago, we had like 26 teams right across the club. This year, we're looking at probably close to that number, and most of them are junior grades. But it's the club's history is great. The people are great, and a lot of people that don't even live in Altona or close to Altona still commute to come and be part of Altona Roosters. We hold the record of consecutive wins. People say it's St Kilda, but St Kilda doesn't exist anymore. so I always, even though they hold 5 in a row, I just say, but you don't exist, so you don't count. So we have 4 in a row. So currently,
Yeah, I probably wasn't there at those glory days when they had 5 in a row, but I've won one with them. They're a great club. They were a great club. Great dudes that worked there. Great, real champion dudes. And there's still a lot of great dudes that I talk to now, or through various ways. But so dealing with a lot of the young kids at your club and stuff like that. Like how are the kids going these days? And what do you think is any major problems that are facing these young kids? Especially with footy and stuff like that, and just in general, what's the major things that you think are the problems that are facing young Polynesian kids in New Zealand or even in Oz?
I suppose from
I know it's a pretty general question, but I'm just trying to sum up things a quick and just
it's look from a footy perspective. One of the issues for kids playing footy is they're wanting to follow their mates, but when you want to follow your mates, there are rules around how many can transfer into club, which we're currently going through at the moment. That's one of the issues with kids playing footy is they want to follow their mates, and then they get disappointed when we decline their transfers and so forth. But those are the rules. But look, I'm not going to pretend to know what the issues are because I'm probably too far removed from that community side to understand what the issues of PI, the kids of the Moana here in Oz or in NZ. But I look in New Zealand, I'd say the issues are still the same. It's around the Pacific community still dominate those bad statistics, low socioeconomic housing, all that sort of stuff, working 2 jobs, still dominate the manufacturing jobs. Nothing wrong with that, but trying to get ahead on those types of wages, it's that holistic approach that if you can't afford to get your kids this, that, and the other, those are the things that I think affect kids of the PI, the community.
Do you think it's different? Sorry.
No.
Do you think it's different? Do you think it's different? What you're explaining there, is it different here in Melbourne than it is to say in New Zealand or even in the Pacific Islands?
I don't see it. I think the only difference is that the Pacific community that have either migrated across here or who are second generation PI here in Australia are still in that category of working the factory jobs. So the difference is that you're getting paid more than your counterpart in New Zealand. So it's one of those things that there's people say gangs and all that sort of stuff. I don't know enough to really comment. But hey, we had youth gangs when we were growing up. It's just a different type of gang mentality now. So it's I don't really know enough to comment about what's going on there. But from the bits and pieces I see, I don't think there's a huge difference between NZ and here in Oz. For the PIs, unfortunately.
You spoke about gangs. Like, do you come across that out in your way? I heard there's a few out that way, biker gangs and stuff like that. I heard even a Kiwi gangs come around and settled around that area too.
Look, gangs are gangs, and it's I think there's a couple of the Kiwi gangs that have set up here, and my late cousin was still alive, Norm. So always went and hung out with him. No issues because that was his lifestyle. Some of my family would go, blah. I said, that's his choice, man. That's it's human, still my family. But look, I don't know much enough. You see it. That's their choice to live that lifestyle. Some people just do it just for camaraderie, I suppose, just to get on the bike. So I don't know. I don't get involved with that stuff.
So Altona is a good place to live at the moment. It's pretty good. There's a lot of Kiwis moving up that way, especially in those new areas like Melton, Truganina, and all that.
So further west.
There's a few more rugby league teams out that way. I'm sure rugby teams as well.
So look, Altona's probably a lot of these other clubs that have spawned up. I could say they all can connect back to the Altona Roosters, Truganina and Werribee Bears. They can all connect back to somebody that's been at the Altona Roosters and have gone there. So, the West, as I say, West is best. And West has dominated rugby league for a while now.
Altona.
We've been in the last two grand finals. We haven't
Yeah.
managed to get that flag yet, but
Oh, good on
we'll
you.
get there.
The Mighty Roosters. Hey, I can't believe I just said that, but got to give them their respects.
Yeah,
No more St Kilda anymore to thwart their finals.
never heard of that
Attendance.
team.
Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about yourself, man. Are you still into church? Do you go to church and stuff like that? What church did you grow up in?
Yeah, I can't lie. I don't go to church.
Yeah.
It's grew up, geez, in the Efu Koka Is to begin with.
Yeah. Yeah, and I have to ask that question because we all got brought up with religion and stuff like that. It's a
Yeah,
big part of who we are,
yeah,
especially
yeah,
with our beliefs and stuff like that.
yeah. So I'm I'm one of these people who everybody else in the household would go to church, and I probably stopped going to church in my early teens, and that was simply because I just not that I wasn't religious, it just didn't want to go. It was just so I ended up, I think my mum got sick of giving me a hiding Sunday morning to get ready. So and it was ended up, well, you stay home, do lunch gourmet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
so
the best part of Sunday too, eh?
yeah, so been to FRKSA, been
Mm,
PIC, St. John's, and then baptized a Mormon, inactive
yeah,
Mormon. Haven't been
yeah.
excommunicated yet, or maybe I have and I don't know.
Uh,
So, but I learned how to play basketball as a Mormon, so I'll give them that. Yeah.
okay, I never looked at you as a basketball player, but
Yeah, I was
I won't
okay.
say go 1-on-1 because I get injured very quickly. Being this old now. Oh yeah. So and what about so how else do you like you're you still are pretty good with your prayer and stuff like that. So you still have a pretty good firm belief, even though that you're not practicing.
I,
Oh, you're not going to church. Sorry.
I'm not sure the belief is the right word. It's just something
Okay.
I've grown up with, and it's you had
Yep.
to say the prayer, and
Yep.
and and I don't mind saying it.
Yep.
And there's probably a bit of hypocrisy in that because you say the prayer. Well, I say the prayer,
Hmm.
and it doesn't mean that I'm a true believer.
Yeah.
It's just something I was brought up to do.
Yeah.
During a meeting, dinner, all that sort of stuff. And I haven't let go of that part of the religion or the spirituality side.
Yep.
But maybe I'm confused or Christian. I'm not sure. I'm just. I wouldn't say I'm a full hardcore believer in that.
Yeah.
It's just something that I do. Yeah.
Well, I don't like I haven't been to church for a while, but I can't judge, but I do believe myself that if you have some sort of form of spirituality out
Yeah.
there that you're aware that there is something around you, that there is a goodness that you can be brought out that and something that helps you sustain that. I think all the more better if it's by prayer, if it's by doing good deeds. I always believe that it can be attributed to all those things, if
Yeah.
not
It's
one.
fair comment, man.
Mm. All right. I had a few questions.
Yeah,
But
I think
I
you're going
didn't
to
want to
ask me
go on
about
and
how
on
fit
and
I
on.
was.
What's that?
I think one of your questions was about whether I'm physically fit or
Yeah. Well, how are you physically? Like, are you a
no.
broken down
I'm
old dude like the
technically
rest of us?
obese.
You
I'm technically obese for my height, so
well,
yeah,
are we all like all Samoans? Technically, they'll say we're obese.
yeah,
Like, it doesn't matter when we got bulging shoulders and muscles and hanging out there or whatever, big calves.
yeah,
We're all in that category. But yeah, but how you feeling? Like are you still getting out and about and still doing
Yeah,
stuff,
so
keeping fit?
COVID sort of forced me to, because couldn't go back to the gym anymore. So I sort of invested in a second-hand cheap home gym. So that's keeping me going at the moment.
Oh yeah, what are you
Yeah,
squatting?
so hey, it took me 50 years to bench 100,
Oh
but I finally
man,
got there.
you're 100, man. That's
That's
impressive, man. That's good.
it's
It's a good
taken me
starting
that
block.
long.
All right. Well, I don't think I'm even there on the press, so that's pretty good, man. I'm still on the girly weights.
Sure, you're
And
not.
what about and how like does work keep you like in charge of your kids, well, mentally and emotionally and all that? Like how you going there? Like is everything else like kept under at bay with prayer and stuff like that? Like do you do what they all do now, like with the self talk and self motivation and stuff like that? Do you have any like any tips that you can give anybody to sort of like uh, liven up your day, make it, lift yourself, you know?
Oh, look, it's mentally, I'm probably one of these people that, well, no, I am now, but I've gone through all that emotional stuff during, the relationship issue, and it's sort of, I'll give my applause and accolades to counsellors, because I used to rubbish going to counselling.
Yeah,
But I attended counselling and it was good. It talking to a stranger, a Palangi stranger,
yeah, yeah.
actually helped me mentally. It was
Wow.
it opened my eyes where somebody said stuff to me that resonated with me and helped me to accept things that you can't change. It's just one of those things. But yeah, mentally, I find ways. Going for a walk, exercise, learning to walk away. Yeah.
Do you find like is it a hard thing for like these services um with the counseling and and stuff like that? Is it hard for like Pacific Islanders in general to take that road, to go seek that sort of help?
Oh, it is, because it's not something that it's a westernized process. Well, probably it isn't a westernized, but it's you look at it that way. Um, it's it's gone from that stuff of harden up type rubbish and not seeking
Yeah,
help. Going to counselling for me helped, and in a huge way, and it's helped me deal with stuff in my business, with my kids.
fantastic.
Yeah, so it's a good process, and it's something I do recommend if you get to a point where you don't know what to do. As they say, you don't know what you don't know, and then it's an avenue for people out there. Yeah.
Is it something that that you also promote as well? Like do you have those sort of like alternatives and options like for when you go out to help people and stuff like that? Like
Yeah.
is it something you
So
also offer?
we don't offer it. Well, I don't offer it. It's
Yeah,
so most employers offer what they call EAP, which is the Employee Assistance Programs, as part of their health and safety policies. They'll put that stuff in, and I always encourage people that I'm trying to support, especially if they're getting terminated from
yeah,
employment, is to take advantage of those things, because it's paid for by the employer,
yeah.
and it's an avenue that you may think in your mind that, oh, they, what's a stranger going to do? How are they going to help me? But just going to it. I'm not saying it's not going to help everybody, but it's a service that's there, and I'm pretty confident that 99% of employers offer that EAP, and I always encourage people that I represent to take it up. Yeah.
And like when you're out in the community, do you see, do you come across a lot of people that should, do you advise to take in those sort of services? I know it's hard, like always, like you suspect it, but you don't really know it, and sometimes you don't want to be, you want to be that person that tries to, jump into other people's business. And then, but then you're afraid that you're going to get the, the sad story in the end, when you see it, you can see it, well, going too far. It's always a hard thing.
Oh, look, you've got to take each situation as it happens, and you just have to be mindful of how people react when you try and jump in. Sometimes it can escalate it. So you've just got to make your own judgment. But by all means, if I see something that could lead, in my mind, to something more serious, I'll definitely go up and say, hey, you just want to chat or whatever, just can I help? But it's something that people, if you're confident or about dealing with that stuff and talking to people about, finding those services or helping them, you should. It's not for everybody. It's but for me, I'm more than comfortable to approach people if I think it's not the right thing to do. If talking to counsellors is an opportunity for them to try and solve issues.
And no, that's great, man. It's fantastic. All right, like what other community groups are you involved in, or do you go out? Do you have to go out to like a Siva to do a recharge, or like what do you do? How do you keep in touch?
I look, my community service stuff is mainly through rugby league, and then also anything to do with my grandkids' schools, I'll participate in that. It's really, my grandkids are sort of my life at the moment, and spending as much time and doing what I can with them. My oldest grandson probably doesn't want to hang out with me anymore, but he's at that stage where he wants to do his own thing. But I used to always take him to sports and encourage him to do this one and that and talk to him. But that's my sort of recharge, is spending time with my grandkids. That's how I recharge myself. Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, let's hope everybody else is gonna take a leaf out of your book and find that help firstly, and be able to find that spirituality and find a way of expressing themselves through that. So all right, well, I didn't mean it to go for this long. I just wanted to have a little chat. But thank you very much also. Really do appreciate it. And I'll definitely get you back when I get better at this gig. But thank you very much, and all the best for all the best for work and stuff like that. It does sound like you truly do have a great business, and you do have a great heart to go out there and help people out, with their troubles in the workplaces. So and good luck with Altona.
I appreciate it. Look, thanks for the time, Seth. Anytime. So look, if people out there need help within their workplace, just look up eBair, EBAIR, or contact Seth for my contact details, and look, happy to come out and chat with you guys and provide service. But thank you again for the opportunity, man. And all the best with
you're
your
very welcome,
podcasting.
man. We'll catch up for that coffee again, eh?
Yeah, we will, mate.
All right, this time I'll shout, man. All right.
All good, man. All right. Thank you.
All right, Sully. Yeah,
Yeah.
far. All right, that was Efu. What a great dude. Yeah, but then thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. That's just for starters. Get the awkward stuff out of the way. Let's get going. Let's make it bigger and better. But hopefully, thanks with all your help and support. I can get better with it, and we can get better at it, and we can do great things. So, like I said, thanks again for tuning in. I know it's late, but take care, have fun, enjoy yourselves, be happy, and we'll catch up with you again. Lots of love. Tō whāsoi fua.